My name is Kaspars, and I work as an aeronautical cartographer at state joint stock company Latvia's Gaisa Satiksme. And today, my topic is aeronautical information provision for operation of unmanned aircraft flights in Latvia. So, I think that everybody have read or heard something, this type of articles in news portals. Singapore, an unauthorized drone caused flight delays and disruptions at Chennai airport, or some other delays at Heathrow, or as in US as well. And last year, we also had some, I would say, major incident. For a couple of days, there are some airspace restriction caused in our Latvian airspace. And so due to this drone, which ended up hauled up in the trees at the end. So where we can come in and help to this situation. The main goal of state joint stock company of Latvia's Gaisa Satiksme is to provide the users with the optimum air navigation service in Riga flight information region. And as of 2nd of January 2020, ELGAS provides a new service, the Electronic Unmanned Aircraft Restriction Viewer, which provides the aeronautical information necessary for operation of unmanned aircrafts. This viewer represents also as a static information, which are not changing as rapidly, and also dynamic elements that could change like by day or sometimes by hours. But you need to remember that not all restrictions are displayed on this viewer. For example, in regulations are mentioned that you cannot fly. There are some restrictions when you're flying over highways, parks, crowded places where a lot of population, and some other restrictions as well is mentioned in regulation. I would like to tell you a little bit how this application works. We have a database. In our case, actually we have 3 of them, where we collect the data. And then we are going and making these map services and publishing them onto ArcGIS server. And from this server, as the map images, it's served to another web adapter, where the magic happens. All the scenario and configurations is done, browser API is configured, so there's also 3D elements involved. And this is big help, and thanks for Aeronautical for helping us with that. And in this browser, we also use some outer map services. In our case, we are using 2 S3 base map layers and terrain data as well in 3D. So a little bit more about our system. The system should run 24/7, so we have 2 environments, operational and test environment. Why we have 2? Because time to time we have new updates of the system and we need to test them. And the safest place to do is in a test environment. And we also have a backup system in some cases when, I don't know, some damages happens or what, we have a script that like follows the main server, and if there's any problem, it will switch automatically to backup system. Also, we have some tools. For example, we have integrity monitoring. As you can see on the right side of my screen, there's an example of this tool, and you can see that all numbers line up between these 3 databases. So everything is correct and all the data is up to date and there's no problem. But if any case there's some mismatch between numbers, we are getting immediately notifications to our email, and we can investigate what's the problem and find solution and fix this solution if something happens. Also, we have system monitoring. We also get notifications via email if something's wrong with the services. There's some some delays, services not responding for a long time, or there are like CPU or RAM overloads in ArcGIS server. We also get like messages about it, and we can like monitor this issue. A little bit about our data. Our main focus is, and we store our data in IXM 5.1 format. IXM means is Aeronautical Information Exchange Model, which means it is XML. Basically, it's XML file with predefined schema, and this information could be updated each 28 days as aeronautical information is run in cycles. This is for static data. And at the beginning, of course, we need to convert this data to GIS formats. For that, we have a special converter. Yes, but usually, maybe it can also update in 56 days or something like that, but it runs in cycles. The second source is US restrictions. At the moment, in some previous slides, you saw that there are 208 these small restriction zones, and they will appear on this viewer as a CAA, which is Civil Aviation Agency, gives permission to the owner of this building on some infrastructure object, and in that moment, this restriction will appear in the viewer. And the last source of information is our SDE database, which where we are storing dynamic information. There's no-time information, short-term information, who is up to 3 months of validity, and it's real time. You have a script which runs every 15 minutes and checks for the new NOTAM, and if there's new NOTAM available for us, so it also converts this XML message to database, and also then this information is shown in our viewer. So now I would like to show you how this viewer runs and how you need to use it. And first of all, please use Google Chrome, because Chrome is more adapted to this viewer. In some other viewers, there are possible chance that some functionality would not work correctly. So, address, airspace.lv/drones. At the beginning, you will see some welcoming screen, little description about where it's told about some little information about this viewer. So, at the left corner, bottom corner, you can see navigational pane, which quite typical. And also there's enabled track location. If you're using, for example, this viewer on a tablet, then you can see your location as well. And very important, this field, it's UTC time, because our navigation information is based on UTC, and also all restrictions are also connected to this time. At the left bottom corner, you can see this integrity tool. As you can see at this time also, every number matches, so information is up to date and everything is good. In the upper right corner, you can see also some functionality. It's possible to see also 3D data, but it will be enabled only when you open filter. And in a filter a little bit later, I will tell also. You can switch between languages. If you're more fluent Latvian, you can choose it. You can report some issue or you have some feedback. Please use this button and give us your feedback. There's typical identify button, and here you can switch between base maps and, for example, enter satellite image. Also, it's possible to print your, preferred location if you want to make a printout. And the very important part is help, because everything is written here, how to operate with this system. Also, at the top, there's 2 numbers, telephone numbers. If you have any question regarding drone flights, please call this one, or you have some questions regarding the application, you also can call the second number, but please do it in a work time. So, and about the last, I would like to speak about this filter, as I think it's the most important part of this viewer. There are 4 basic steps that you need to fill up, and after that you will know how safe are you to fly in this area. Are there any restrictions or no? First of all, you need to enter your maximum takeoff weight. It's very important parameter because depending on the weight, also restriction can vary. I will enter 1 kilo. Second step, you need to specify your flying area. There are multiple ways how you can do it. First of all, you can use screen extension. And second, if you are using tablet, you can use your GPS location and create a buffer around it. Third, you also can look up your address and build a buffer around it. Or the fourth step, you can, if you have some predefined flight region, you can input your coordinates. I will use the easiest way and use my screen extent. And you see some red rectangle appears on your application. Third, flight height selection. It's also very important, so please think about it carefully. Maximum allowed without any permissions is 120 meters above ground. So I will leave at that. And the last one, the final step, time selection. You need to fill up this possible time when you're planning to do your flying activities. I will enter like 24-hour period as its default and apply. So after applying filter, you are now seeing only these restrictions, which are meant as restrictions upon your 4 parameters that you entered in the filter. At the left side, you can see that the information is divided. At first, you are seeing this temporary information. It is NOTAMs. Unfortunately, you cannot get permission for that. You just need to wait when this activity will end, and then you can only make your flight. Second is static airspaces. These are like which can update typically each 28 days. And there you can see, you can flash to the this small restriction, you zoom up to flash it. And if there is possible to get permission, then you will see permission button. You can read contact information where you need to call or send email to get permission to fly there. And at the last, there's also flight rules, which is basically around the airdromes and heliports, depending on type of the airdrome. It's 3 or 5 kilometer buffer, which also it's not allowed to fly without any permission. And at the end, I would like to switch 3D and show also how it looks in 3D. It's you need a little bit time to wait. But yeah, 3D is also here, and you can like rotate and look how it's possible to look in 3D as well. So back to presentation. My advice to you is to check this application regularly. It's not enough if you, for example, today is Friday and you looked only in Tuesday, because information can change up quite frequently. And as you can see in an example, I think from April, there a big portion of the western part of Latvia was covered by some NOTAM, and in this area is not allowed to fly any drone. And so at the end of my presentation, I would like to speak a little bit about future. What will be changed in some near future? In the next years, we will introduce new concept, UAS Geographical zones. We will change a little bit this for some types of airspaces. These restrictions probably will change a little bit. And there will be a lot new attributes involved. You can define these restrictions by the drone class or using some environmental standards or some other restrictions which are described in this new regulation from European Commission. And you can see this possible time frame and this new regulation maybe will be established. But at the moment, Latvia, we do not have this no new national regulations is not available. So we are not clearly how it will look in the future, but I think quite soon we will find out more about it. And this is possible, like schema, how this zone could look like with all the attributes. So there's an example how CTR, this controlled traffic region, looks like around Riga airport. You can fly up to 50 meters in this figure without any permission, except this purple one. And you can see these are like basic data which are necessary for this airspace restriction. But my colleagues have planned and made some visualization example how it maybe will look in the future. So future probably, but not for 100%, but probably will look more colorful. As you can see, this one airspace is divided in many figures, which are like colorful, and each color represents some type of restriction due to some, as I mentioned, environmental reasons or drone weight or some other reasons. So for me, that's it. So thank you for attention.